You know that feeling when the topic of money comes up with your partner, and suddenly the air in the room gets heavy? Maybe one of you tenses up, the other starts avoiding eye contact, and before you know it, what should have been a simple conversation turns into a full-blown argument. Sound familiar? If it does, you're not alone. Money is one of the most common things couples fight about, especially as we get older and start thinking about retirement, savings, or helping our kids financially. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. Talking about money with your partner can actually bring you closer if you approach it the right way. In this video, we're going to walk through how to have these conversations calmly, openly, and productively. No blame, no frustration, just real, practical ways to get on the same page. And we'll start with the most important step, setting the right tone. Let's be honest, bringing up money when one of you is stressed, distracted, or halfway out the door is a recipe for disaster. You wouldn't plan a big vacation discussion while your partner's in the middle of fixing a leaky sink, right? Money talks need the same consideration. Instead of springing it on them, try saying something like, "Hey, I've been thinking about our finances lately, and I'd love to sit down together this weekend to chat. When's a good time for you?" That way you're giving them a heads up, and they won't feel blindsided. And when you do sit down, make it as relaxed as possible. Maybe over a cup of coffee or after dinner when you're both unwinding. The goal isn't to hash out every detail in one go. It's to start a conversation that feels safe, not stressful. Here's where things often go wrong. One person starts with, "You always spend too much on your cars or hobbies," and suddenly it's not about money anymore. It's about who's right and who's wrong. Instead, try framing the conversation around what you both want. For example, "I've been thinking about how we can make sure we're both comfortable in retirement. What are your biggest concerns about that? I'd love to take that trip next year. How can we make that happen together?" When you make it about shared goals rather than individual habits, it stops feeling like an attack and starts feeling like teamwork. This one's huge. Often, money arguments happen because we assume we know how our partner feels, but we don't actually ask. Maybe they're stressed about debt but haven't said it. Maybe they have a different idea of what saving for the future looks like. So, after you bring up the topic, pause. Let them share their thoughts without interrupting. Even if you disagree, just hearing them out can make all the difference. You might be surprised by what you learn, and that understanding is the first step to finding common ground. Now, these are just the first steps, but they're the foundation for everything else. Because once you've set the right tone, the rest of the conversation becomes so much easier. And in the next part, we'll dive into how to tackle the bigger, trickier topics like budgeting, debt, and long-term planning without the tension. But for now, think about this. What's one money-related goal you and your partner could start talking about this week? Not fixing everything at once, just opening the door to the conversation. Because that's how real change begins. And remember, you're not alone in this. Every couple has to figure out together, and you absolutely can too. Now that we've talked about setting the right tone, picking a good time, focusing on shared goals, and really listening to each other, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Because once you've laid that foundation, the next step is figuring out what to talk about and how to keep the conversation productive. Here's something we don't always admit. Most of us have at least one little money habit that drives our partner a little crazy. Maybe it's daily coffee runs, impulse online shopping, or that gym membership you haven't used in months. And here's the thing, your partner probably has one too. Instead of pointing fingers, try this. Both of you take some time to write down your spending over the last month. Not to judge, just to observe. Then, when you sit down together, share what you noticed. You might say something like, "I realized I spend more on eating out than I thought. What surprised you?" This isn't about shaming or cutting out every little pleasure. It's about awareness. Because when you both see where the money's going, you can start making decisions together, like maybe we cut back on takeout and put that money toward our vacation fund instead. Debt is one of those topics that can feel heavy, even scary. Maybe one of you has student loans lingering, credit card balances, or a car payment that's eating into your budget. And if you've avoided talking about it because it feels overwhelming, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Ignoring debt doesn't make it go away. The key is to approach it as a team. Start by laying everything out. No blame, no guilt. Just the facts. Then ask each other, How does this debt make us feel? What's one small step we can take this month to start chipping away at it? Maybe it's consolidating high-interest cards, setting up automatic payments, or even just committing to no new debt for a while. The goal isn't to fix it all overnight. It's to start moving in the same direction. This is where things can get emotional, especially as we get older. Retirement, helping adult kids, healthcare costs. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They're tied to our dreams, our fears, and our sense of security. So instead of diving straight into spreadsheets, start with the big picture. Ask each other, what does a good life look like for us in 10 years? What's one thing we want to make sure we're prepared for financially? You might find that one of you is more focused on travel, while the other is worried about leaving an inheritance. Neither is wrong, but you've got to know to plan for both. From there, you can start looking at practical steps, like meeting with a financial advisor or adjusting your savings goals. Even with the best intentions, money talks can get heated. If you feel the conversation starting to spiral, it's okay to hit pause. Try saying, I think we're both getting frustrated. Let's take a break and come back to this tomorrow. And if you keep hitting the same roadblocks, that's normal. Some money disagreements aren't about logic. They're about deep-seated beliefs or past experiences. In those cases, consider bringing in a neutral third party, like a financial planner or couples counselor, to help you navigate it. Now, let's talk about the long game, because the real magic happens when money talks become a normal, even positive part of your relationship. Think about how you check in with each other about your days, your plans, or even what's for dinner. Money should be the same way, just another part of life you discuss openly. The trick is to make these check-ins simple and consistent. Try setting aside 20 minutes once a month. Call it your money date. Grab your favorite drinks, put on some relaxing music, and make it something you look forward to. Start with the wins. What's one financial thing we did well this month? Maybe you stuck to your grocery budget or finally set up that emergency fund transfer. Celebrate those. Then look ahead. What's one thing you want to focus on next month? When these talks feel routine instead of rare and loaded, they stop being something to fear and start being something that actually connects you. No matter how well you plan, life will throw curveballs, a sudden medical bill, a car breaking down, or a family member needing help. These moments test even the strongest couples, but they don't have to break you. Here's the key. Pause before reacting. When stress hits, our first response is often panic or blame. How could this happen? Instead, take a breath and face it as a team. Try, okay, this isn't what we planned, but how can we handle it together? Then break it down. What's urgent? Example, we need to pay this bill by the 15th. What can we adjust temporarily? Example, let's pause our fun money for a month. What's the long-term lesson? Example, maybe we need to increase our emergency fund. This isn't about having all the answers. It's about facing challenges side by side. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, you'll hit a stalemate. Maybe one of you wants to downsize, while the other dreams of a renovation. Or one is a saver, the other a spender. In those moments, remember, compromise isn't failure. Try the 50-50 rule. Each of you gets to prioritize one financial goal at a time. For example, this year, we'll focus on paying off your student loan, your priority, and next year, we'll save for the kitchen update, my priority. And if you're truly stuck, sometimes writing it down helps. Each of you list your ideal outcome, what you're willing to give up, one thing you appreciate about the other's perspective. You'd be amazed how often seeing things on paper and acknowledging each other's feelings can unlock a solution. At the end of the day, money isn't about spreadsheets or account balances. It's about the life you're building together. So when tensions rise, ask yourselves, what's more important, being right or being happy together? Maybe that means letting go of a small disagreement about spending. Maybe it means revisiting a dream you'd put aside. Whatever it is, keep coming back to this truth. You're on the same team. So this week, try one small thing. Share one money win with your partner, no matter how small. Schedule your first money date. Simply say, I appreciate how we're working on this together. Because every great partnership, including the financial kind, is built one conversation at a time. And remember, you're not just talking about money. You're building trust, understanding, and a future where you both feel secure and heard. That's something worth celebrating. Here's to many more calm, connected conversations, and to the peace of mind that comes with them. Thanks for letting me be part of your journey. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one insight you're taking away from this? Drop a comment below, and if this helped, share it with someone who might need it too. Until next time, here's to your happiest, healthiest financial life together.